Hi, this is Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of RegAlytics, with your update on this week's 39,664 regulatory alerts gathered from 13,150 agencies from around the globe. What a week it has been, and I mean that literally, with all these crazy storms. We had emergency evacuations in Washington, D.C., massive trees coming down all over Hoboken, and a gaping hole that opened up in our local parking garage. We actually just got back to the camper to find our tents either blown away or toppled over from the wind. It's just been that kind of a week. And then on top of all of that, we're now watching a building on 42nd Street in Manhattan with buckling beams on the 21st floor, which has forced the evacuation of a number of buildings around the city, including a school with about 500 kids inside it. Add that to the tragic earthquake in Venezuela, and it got me thinking back to the Surfside condo collapse in Florida, which happened on June 24th of 2021, and it just so happens to be marking its 5th anniversary this year. So I decided to take a look at where we stand in RegAlytics when it comes to building code. So the regulator of the week is NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, because no kidding, their final review of that Florida disaster just came out last month. NIST investigators found that the collapse actually started weeks before the building came down, when two connections between the garage columns and the pool deck failed back in early June of 2021. The cracks kept growing and the load kept redistributing over about 3 weeks until the whole thing gave away. Their bottom line, in some spots, the original design only had less than half the strength the code actually required. So this wasn't some freak accident, it was baked into the building from day one. NIST said that there were issues with the code itself, but then, of course, there were deviations from the code, meaning the rules were bad, but also the bad rules weren't totally followed anyway. NIST is going to come out with a future report on the rules themselves and what recommendations NIST has. And so, obviously, the topic of the week is building safety. Turns out I am not the only one who noticed we just passed the Surfside anniversary, because Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a Democrat, and Congresswoman Maria Elvira Salazar, a Republican, just reintroduced a bipartisan bill called the Making Condos Safer and Affordable Act. What it would do is open up 2 existing HUD loan programs, and for my HUD people out there, this would be the FHA 203K loan and the Title I Property Improvement Loan. Anyway, these loan programs would open up so condo owners and associations can actually borrow the money they need for structural repairs and special assessments instead of getting hit with one giant bill all at once. And it's not just Washington. A handful of states put out their own building code updates this week too. Illinois passed House Joint Resolution 60, which is creating a new condominium governance and transparency task force to study reserve funding, board governance, and building safety oversight. It's basically the state-level version of what Congress is trying to do. And California is moving a bill that folds swimming pool safety directly into its building code, requiring drowning prevention protections for pools on condo balconies, patios, and terraces, and not just the pool downstairs by the clubhouse. And I know this is hard to believe while we all follow the World Cup aggressively, but the United States is not the only country in the world, and thankfully, RegAlytics covers all of it. So I can also tell you that this week over in Taiwan, the Ministry of Labor just rolled out brand new regulations requiring safety design and full life cycle risk management on construction projects, on top of updated safety standards for construction sites that just took effect on July 1st. And I can also tell you that in the UK, the health and safety executive prosecuted a construction company after a poor bricklayer fell more than 6 feet through an unguarded railing on an upper floor and suffered permanent brain damage, all because the company skipped basic protective measures like scaffolding. Anyway, in the end, I hope all of this helps us stay a little safer out there, and I really hope you stay safe too. And that's it this week for RegAlytics. We have the global supply chain of all of the world's regulatory alerts in one very easy to use place. And if you need a solution related to regulation, give us a call.